You guys.
Prediction? Yes, prediction. Pain.
Are you ready? I was born ready.
Obviously, you're a little, aggravated by the line of questioning regarding Canelo.
I don't want to touch this, dirty, so bad. I don't want to touch his name.
I'm working on feeling the art of humbleness. Can you be with me? That's the reason why I'm crying, because I'm not that person. And I miss him. But sometimes I feel like a bitch. I don't want that person to come out, because when he comes out, hell is coming with him. And it's not funny at all. It must sound cool, like I'm a tough guy. It's just I hate that. I'm scared of it.
It would be awesome to, see being a great war. Maybe we would have Mexican.
Let's go. Way pop, way pop, way pop.
I have to put the joke.
No, hey.
Thank you for playing, man. I appreciate
Good
you.
timing.
Can't put predictions, man, but I definitely don't want to leave it to the judges.
¡Epa! Seguimos en vivo. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Como siempre, Mari Marrero.
Sean El Gringo Hicksa.
Hopper.
Hey.
Always breaking it down like it is, like it should be. We are extremely super excited.
Como debe ser.
I am excited. I am happy. I am alive.
We just talked to Jermaine Ortiz,
oh my God,
brother.
This was crazy.
Man.
This was crazy. I mean, and considering how we all three of us we feel.
Yeah, little backstory. Me and Gringo took the second dose of the COVID shot yesterday. Manny took it earlier today. And it is kicking our butts. It's on the ropes.
Yeah.
Our corner's thinking about stopping the fight.
Alien
We're hanging in
shit's
there.
coming out.
We're getting whooped right now. We're down on the scorecards.
We're rocking that low T today, baby.
We need a knockout to win the fight.
We're definitely in trouble, man.
So
I'm
if we
on the
say
ropes.
something dumb, this time it's because of the COVID shot.
Exactly.
All the other times it's just because it's
because
us.
we're dumb.
Normal, but this time we got an excuse.
Yeah, so we're going to be sticking that stiff jab in your mouth, but it's not as stiff as usual.
It's not that stiff. No, it's
It's a little
ED right now.
Oh, baby.
My body aches a little bit, but we're excited to be here. We're excited.
Don't let it discourage you.
Not at
Get
all.
vaccinated.
Yeah,
go
please.
for it. I mean, why not? It's
Especially if you're going to go to these boxing fights.
Which we encourage you guys to do so. Man, talk about going to the boxing fights and going to a great electric atmosphere.
Talking to Jermaine because somebody was there.
Our brother from another mother was there. Manny Manero!
Boricua. Wow.
How was it, brother? How was it? We saw your Facebook videos, your pictures.
Man.
My goodness.
I'm surprised you
were
could even
signing
talk. Your
autographs
voice.
and kissing babies.
I was a little bit sore next day, but the only thing that I was missing out there was you guys.
What thank
Appreciate that.
you.
To borrow money from?
On the other hand, I had a fantastic time with my father, Manny Marrero Sr.
In the house!
He's a
Poppy.
huge Berlanga fight. He's been following Berlanga for the last 3-4 fights. Always commenting, getting some conversations about how amazing he fights, and then all of a sudden I surprised him with, "Hey, let's make it happen. Let's be there." So we were there, and we felt the excitement. I was like, both of us were like kids in the candy store, like, wow.
So first thing that I have to ask, because we know your passion, your level of passion. We know the level of passion of our brother Elcano. Shout out to him. Our brother Brandon, brother Dorian. These guys live it, love it. But we know we want some more of as far as the feedback and the assessment of the other fans were there. Were they really bought in? What do you think the engagement level was? Are people excited about these young Puerto Rican fighters?
Well, they're excited. Number one thing, when was the last time Top Ranks had a card with fans? It's been a while. Second is we haven't had a. I know, right? We haven't had a like a card just like this in the past. We've had maybe a couple of Puerto Ricans, 3-4, fighting in the same card, but 8 amazing, stellar, contenders / prospects that completely completely made 4,000 fans go wild and crazy from the minute you parked your car all the way down to do your line to go inside the building. You can feel the excitement.
It was electric.
It was great. And this is a thing though that for me, it reminded me of, we've done so many events, right? And I don't I don't know if you guys remember. I don't know if you guys remember your very first event when you went to your first boxing match. The energy and the excitement you heard, sometimes you can't compare it to some of the time.
Right.
And I think this was that first love for me. I was like, wow, I'm back in where I need to be. I can feel the environment where I grew up with, what how the reaction to the fans, every country has their own chanting and everything, right. And just having that in there and for only one purpose is to be out and about and watching the sport that we love. I just wish that they had, more fans in there. 4,000 place looked a little bit empty, but there were 4,000 fans out there. I'd say.
But that was because of the COVID restrictions?
Yeah, COVID restriction. Yeah.
I think it would have sold out if they would have opened it up.
Completely. They had great protocols in place.
Definitely.
It was great. It was a fantastic event. Security was a little bit shaky, but nothing major happened. So
shaky is not good.
Happened, but
I want to touch on that later.
Other than that,
weak security.
Wow.
Security, top flight security.
I need some backup.
Backup. Other than that, I mean, it was great location, great seats, great meeting our media partner, Cano Loco from Cano Loco Sports.
Love you, Cano.
Brandon also as well. We met
Brandon.
And everyone out there that we were able to one way or form will connect in some other ways. By the way, Jose Castillo, great. I mean, he's one of the trainers for Ramiro. We was able to meet him. So Hurst, Jim, shout out, amazing performance. For Ramiro. We'll touch base on his fight later on, but it's just the people that you kind of connect for one purpose, and it's just to watch a boxing fight. But interesting is that people were really wanting to see what Berlanga was all about, and that was like people.
That was the fight to test him. Nicholson
exactly.
Was game.
So the energy from the beginning, it was. Sometimes you see the boxers are coming in and you see them on the screen, right? And when Pitufo came in, whoa, everyone, chanting. Here comes Berlanga, and it's just the 4,000 people were just screaming.
Exploded.
Exploded. So it was a great energy. Bob Aaron did great. Put this card together, man. I mean, I wish it happens. We get one of these again.
Man, I'm all for it, and sold. Definitely. So you touched on something that I was kind of mentioned before, and I was wondering if that was just part of the buildup or if that's something that you sensed from your experience as well. Is of all, I guess, the star among stars, so to speak, right? Berlanga's the guy, right? Do you feel like that's who people came to see, honestly, even more than Xander? Sorry, Xander, we love you.
Whoa!
I mean, there's
not
me,
not you.
There's a lot of components.
Else.
Yeah, there's a lot of components here, right? There's a lot of things that people wanted to go out there. But I think that the number one out there is to see Berlanga. The percentage, if I put it in percentage, it had to be the highest one. And then, of course, second would be like an opportunity for another Puerto Rican to capture a world title against a superstar. And we talked about this. Navarrete, it's honestly going to be a huge pound for pound future king. And so people wanted to witness that as well. Not a lot of Puerto Ricans may know a lot about Navarrete, and now they do.
Hopefully he earned some fans.
But because you hear more Navarrete on this side of the game, although yes, he's been on ESPN, he's got some exposure. And I would say they had to be about maybe 100 more than 100 fans, Mexican fans. I mean, openly, like right,
really,
with the flags and stuff like that.
There was some raza there.
Yes, they were.
I couldn't see them. I saw maybe one on TV.
No, we had a couple. They had a couple of flags and people, have Canelo shirts. Sorry, I missed to, get some of those pictures.
Put your Canelo shirt out, Manny.
It was your Canelo.
I know. Yeah,
well,
I gotta,
cross that
if
off
I don't
the list.
mention that, he's gonna bring it up.
We've already talked about Canelo this episode. Thank you. Moving on.
Oh wow, we can continue now.
Oh my God!
Speaking of Canelo,
it ends up about Canelo or food.
Canelo or food, right?
So obviously, there was a big buy-in. People were excited.
Huge.
You were excited.
Oh man!
Now going through the card, kind of going through it. Now we were excited. From jump, you were one of the first people there. I think you helped open the door, man. You and your pops. Shout out to Poppy.
All right, they were sweeping the stadium.
Now, as far as like, when did you notice that things started to kind of fill up? As far as like there's more people there. From your perspective on TV, it's going to always look different. So when did you notice like people started to kind of pile in more? Was it Berlanga once they went to the ESPN side?
I started to see more people moving around. No, more people moving around. I started to see when Sanders came in. And listen, we talked about Sanders Sayas the other day in the show that what he was going to do on this fight. Enlighten people, get people up, get people to start getting excited, right? It's like, and here we go about food again, but you go to a place, you have hors d'oeuvres, and you get your drinks, right? That's the first card. Second card. Then you get some appetizers, and then you get some sushi stuff again, and then and then now you're starting to smell the menu, that meat, the main course coming in, right? It was exactly the same way, and I think that we started with the appetizer with Sander Sayas. I was seated when I hear the song, people are starting to kind of pop up. Of course, what's this guy's name? DeMarcus Layton, he came in first. And I'm like, here we go again. And people are starting to congregate around the ring, the people on the floor. No one moved on the other fights. Everyone stays seated in the floor. And then there were still spots open that they came in at the Berlanga time. Definitely the Berlanga just got everyone together. Family back again. But I think Sander it was like that spark initiating, the fire for the night.
No, I know for myself, it definitely caught my attention. I was excited to see everybody. I believe that Jeremy Ordonez had fought. He fought Romero, and then it went to Xander.
Well, actually, it started with one of the fights that wasn't able to fight was Henry Moncho Lebron, and we wish you the best. Right? Hope everything turns out great.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate.
Yeah. That happens.
Yeah,
it just tends to happen, and we
this
have
day,
no
in
control
this era, in this COVID era, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen. So he's going to come back.
Bounce back. You'll
be
fine.
Prospect.
Yeah.
But they came up. Bobber is just plugged into the Puerto Rican prospects. But they brought on board this kid from Caguas, Puerto Rico. His name is Jacob Gomez. He was 1-0 at that time. He fought Mobley Villegas. I'm going to be honest. I've never seen this kid fight. This was his first time fighting. And Mobley Villegas, he was 3-1. In 2 knockouts. We're not talking about someone that is just had one fight or anything, just like Jacob Gomez, and he completely destroyed. So that's like the hors d'oeuvres. They're coming in,
Yeah.
But great job, Jacob Gomez. Oh wow, super powerful. I think junior lightweight at 130. That's some power in the kid that it's still young.
Yeah, I know when it was announced. I mean, obviously we were disappointed that Monchi wasn't going to be able to perform, but I know that immediately that you were ready to see Gomez, right?
Yeah,
You were ready to see Gomez.
Absolutely.
So did he live up to the expectations you had heard? Because I hadn't seen him before.
I didn't either. When I noticed the last the final undercard, and I noticed that, I started doing a little bit of research, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's good. And this guy, he did his pro debut October last year, 2020. It's a very solid kid, very great stand southpaw. And he's got great combinations, and he's got the Cotto kind of Puerto Rican body.
The body punch, the left hook to the liver.
Left hook. And that's how he kind
of... Liver quiver.
Yeah, no. So we got something going on. And the funny thing about it, our sources tells us...
Sources!
He's still not signing by Top Ranks.
Whoa!
We should sign him.
Can we sign him?
Let's sign him.
Wow. I mean, they will, I'm sure. Him and little, Pequeño Gigante Frebien waiting on their turn. But
if they sign him, that'd be great, man.
Oh, that's fantastic. So hopefully we can have you on the show one day. Jacobo.
No pressure, brother.
We're here.
Do your bro solid, man.
Absolutely. So, all right. So now we can't just skip over the performance that Xander had.
Of course not.
It was 56 seconds of pure destruction.
Awesomeness.
Nasty. Let me tell you something. We've seen videos. You guys seen videos in social media in where he's, just going at it. Whether it's sack, whether it's with Coach Centeno, exactly what he trains is exactly what he shows up.
I seen pictures of him jogging with Oscar Valdez the other day, 8 miles,
and then getting Mofongo.
And then again,
in Miami.
And he actually had some alitas and pizza and all that with Berlanga afterwards, right? That's the treat you get when you accomplish your goal. And listen, he didn't expect to be a knockout. I think if you look at DeMarcus Layton, 8-1 with 1 draw, 5 knockouts. It's a guy that's experienced, a guy that's got a pretty good record and has opportunities just like Sander. Sander was just 7-0.
Well, I know that Coach Centeno, and shout out to you, we're doing a great job with Xander. And
Woo! Could be a new unified.
Hey,
Coach.
That's a rumor, but hey, you never know.
Wow.
I was definitely impressed, and he commented that was the game plan. They wanted to be more aggressive because the last time they felt they should have been more pressing on the gas. They didn't waste any
body punches,
anything. That's another thing. It's one thing to throw, but it's another thing to land, and that with bad intentions and they weren't playing any games at all. I mean, they were ready to get him out of there, and it was extremely just controlled chaos.
Completely.
It was amazing.
I mean, the fight started,
really impressive.
and I started recording, and guess what? I'm gonna fire my own cameraman. I'm gonna fire myself. I started recording, and I didn't.
Oh, that's a shame.
I didn't have it in recording, and I had it in photo, and I took a picture, and I started recording. Exactly. And when I'm like, wow, jumping up and down. Hold on, I want to see. I'm not recording, but we were all standing up. I told you guys at the beginning they were coming in. Everyone around the ring, even security couldn't stop anyone. It was a lot of people, but still, you started to see more people around the ring. And wow, when he just completely destroyed, poor Leighton.
First round.
Poor Leighton, first round.
56 seconds.
He just jumped on that rope. And listen, there's something different that I did see in him. And, shout out. Thank you, buddy, for always supporting us. And you're awesome. You're amazing.
Oh, definitely.
Gave us an opportunity to get a picture out there. But this is what I saw in him. When he went into the ring, he's always in the zone. But when the bell rang, it was a different beast. It was someone that honestly, he unzipped himself, and he's no longer that innocent kid that I know I have a talent, and I'm good and I'm humble. This guy's hanging around Oscar Valdez. This guy's hanging around Edgar Berlanga. This guy's hanging around all these top sharks that are still in the game. The Cambosos.
Iron sharpens iron.
Exactly. Former, champion contenders, as Amir Man. I mean, I gotta say, he's a different animal inside the ring right now. He's like, I'm gonna come and destroy you, and that's the game.
No, I mean, and that's definitely what came across, and that's another thing that Coach Centeno said. Not just the game plan, but to execute it
exactly,
and also in that environment. Obviously, the environment, got to him as well.
Oh no, it did because everyone was chanting Sander, 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 and it was beautiful. He felt it, extremely happy. I mean, there were fireworks. Right after his, and I'm saying fireworks of smiles, of screams, of wow, he's who we thought.
Yeah, it's I mean,
you are who we thought you were.
I love watching him fight. I mean, it's kind of like a glass half full because you like to have him perform the way he did and to really exceed expectations and really gain more attention that he deserves. But at the same time, you're like, man, that was just 56. I want more. But the beautiful thing is we know that Xander's going to come back and fight, and I love the mindset he has.
He's back sooner than what we thought. I mean, just 56 seconds of work.
Yeah.
Hey, no overtime in boxing.
You get paid overtime.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that was definitely an amazing performance, but there was definitely more. And then, from there, they had
well, before Sander, they had the Adorno younger brother, Jeremy Adorno.
Was that Blessed Hands?
Blessed Hands. He was fighting our local from Hearst, Texas, Ramiro Martinez. And it was a pretty good fight for the young talented prospect. I mean, people are talking about supposedly that Jeremy's going to be even better than his brother.
Oh,
he's got a high caliber.
We can already start that. Just watching the fights from Saturday night.
Who isn't saying that?
I mean, it's crazy. Now here's the deal. Ramiro Martinez. This is a kid that we saw him fight twice.
With
he fought B-Fly at Junction Center. B-Fly started pretty strong, but he came out with a draw, a very clean draw. And then he fought Robert Rodriguez, which was trained by
Robert
Garcia, right? Robert Garcia. And he came out of the draw at that. So when you think about the opportunity,
he's an artist.
El Diamante.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
El Diamante. You think the opportunity this kid it's going through right now and being on a card which your odds are completely against you. You're a Mexicano. You got the Puerto Ricans. You go in there and still able to perform the way he did, against a very talented, tough Jeremy Adorno. That's great. Hats off to everyone, their camp, everything that you guys have done. This kid's going to get some great opportunities. You know what? I am excited because I know I'm going to see him again sometime in Mikey Garcia.
Oh, yeah.
Cards.
Or one of the other cards that they got going on because DFW is hot right now for sure.
Yeah,
definitely.
So, Mero did a thing, and then shout out to Jeremy Adorno for sure, obviously. So then it was, Xander, he put on his 56-second performance. Then it was Kapu, right? Kapu Gonzalez was next?
He fought our boy Tony Lopez.
Afterwards
FHG.
was FHG own Juan Antonio Lopez, another beast from this is the West. Fort Worth, Texas.
South.
I know, right?
Southwest.
Southwest. Fighting Orlando Capo Gonzalez, another huge test for the Puerto Rican contender. I would want to say he had jumped to the contention for me right now. I think it's probably a couple of years before he gets a big opportunity. So he's improving his record 17-0. And this is another one that, for myself, with all respect to the boxers who dedicate a lot of time to the sport, I'm not just talking trash about what you do. We see that and we value that. But this is what boxer I was expecting to see a little bit more, and I did. I sure did. Not only, with his gloves, with a strong opponent, but also with his mouth. It was trash talking at its best. I mean, I saw him after the fight, and I said, "Wow, look at you, man. You're trash talking too again." That's a cria boricua, mi gente. That's when you really are taking things serious. And not only that, you have in the back of your mind, because we asking about the Mexican, you're asking about the Mexican and Puerto Rican rivalry. There you go. There you go.
So what you're saying is the Puerto Ricans have beat up all the Mexicans so far. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. You know what?
It was 3. It
was 3-0 at that point.
3-0 at that point. Okay, that's cool. That's cool, man. Hey, can't win them all. It's all right. You got to rub it in my face. No, that's cool.
I remember that we did a quick live. Shout out to us.
Yeah, that's the first thing he said. We're whooping all the Mexicans tonight.
3-0.
Yeah.
Hey, Manny, how's it going down there? 3-0.
3-0, baby.
3-0.
What Mexicans? Woo!
Where is the next Mexican? So I was like, wow, okay.
Wow, okay. So how are you doing?
Oh, yeah.
Not humble at all.
Yeah, 3-0.
No, but that's great.
Good times.
But you know what? And that's another example. We talked about Romero and what he presents as far as being a tough opponent for anybody. You can't always look at the record, because I'm sure people looked at like, oh, this guy has 2 draws and 1 win. He's not going to be a challenge. But you look at Tony
Lopez.
All his losses are against guys that have 1 or no losses. He's
fighting
definitely
tough guys.
Yeah, he's fighting tough guys. He's always been tough. I've been following his career, seems like forever. And, I know that he was going to be able to bring it. Yeah. He presented a lot of challenges for Capu Gonzalez. So shout out to him and Coach Ray Ray from FHG Gym. I was really impressed with his performance. I thought, honestly, you can make an argument definitely the first 2 rounds, and it was kind of close for the 3rd round.
Right.
But then I felt Capu went to the body, which surprised me because I really thought that Tony was the bigger, more broad fighter. So I figured going to the body would be to his advantage. But Capu showed that dog in him. And, I think that's why a lot of people are really high on him, because it's one thing to be technical, but sometimes, like we learned and we talked to Jermaine Ortiz about that, sometimes you just got to fight.
And that's what happened there. That's what happened there. They got caught up. They were exchanging both of them, and at the same time, both of them landed left hooked. Boom! Both of them get hit. I mean, and to the point that both of them shook a little bit, and then you start seeing the trash talking, and here comes Lopez like, hey, mira, here comes Capu. He said, vamos pa encima, mamabicho.
Wow.
No, it was good though. It was a really good clearly battle inside the ring for those 2 guys. I'm happy for both of them, man, because we this is what boxing is all about when you put a card like this.
No, yeah, and that's the thing, because at this point, that's why I got to make and preface this for those that saw the card. I was very content. I was like, this card is like good. I'm enjoying the hell out of it. It's been very entertaining. And then it just kept kicking up another notch.
Another notch. That's right. And we just covered it. We just talked about it. Jermaine Ortiz against Joseph Adorno.
Wow.
I mean, I'm gonna explain it very simple. I watched the fight again. I had to watch it before I even commented on anything. But I had Jermaine winning the first round. I had Joseph winning the 2nd round, of course, 10-8. That's when and I think that was one of the things that he talked about. And remember, we were talking about earlier that anytime he would come in with the triple jab and coming in forward, he got caught up with that left hook. And he agreed with us. I mean, he just told us that was his biggest mistake. That's part of not being that technician that he portrays himself. But when it comes to the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th round, that was clearly Jermaine. He had the speed.
Jermaine.
He had the speed. Yes, you did see a couple of power punches landed by Adorno.
Far in between. Too many
but that's not enough to say wow.
At all. Mm-mm.
Yeah. And then the 6th round was the slowest round, but still he was very active. And then coming down to the 7th round, this is what all kind of got down.
Dropped. Yep.
He got dropped. He did exactly the same thing, coming in, standing, and he just brought that left hook again, and down he goes, right? So, got caught up on the ropes, and I think he landed a good side body punch. And then after that, referee had to call it, knockdown.
Yeah.
And so last round, and you guys saw it. I mean, last round, he was the most active and close, very strong. People, when the bell rang, I looked around and people were like, "Whoa!" Like wow, I didn't expect to see this fight tonight. Like
no,
this.
and you know another thing too, and I'm not a strong person on math, but I do understand, value.
You understand the 4 for 4 at Wendy's.
Hell yeah. Speaking of which, after the show,
let's go.
No, but Jermaine Ortiz threw 100 more punches.
Big time.
100.
Is that a lot?
That's huge, bro.
That's huge.
I thought so.
Over 8 rounds.
It's just 8
yeah,
rounds.
that's quite a bit. And I felt like not only was he throwing them, but he was landing them on a high percentage.
Correct.
Not as high as Joseph, but Joseph threw a lot less punches. And I also thought that
ring generalship was all Jermaine's
completely.
As well.
He was controlling the action.
Everyone.
Now,
And
even our boy Kano came up to me, to our seats, and it's like, "What do you think?" And I'm like, "Well, that's seventh round. I see it right now, possibly
9-9?
Joseph, but I think it was a 9-9." And then he actually looked and said, "Wow, yeah, we agree. 3 people out there agree. My
and that's
pops
coming
agree
from
too."
hardcore Puerto Rican fans.
Exactly.
That's what's even hardcore
And
Puerto
even
Rican.
even Brandon also shared
Brandon
his thoughts
too?
about,
Okay.
Wow,
well,
yeah,
so
it's unanimous.
It's unanimous. No, but that I don't know. Maybe I'm just naive, but I really didn't think they were going to call it a draw, man. Did you guys?
I did. You know
Really?
why? Yeah. You know why? Because we know the shady business in boxing. We know who the top rank. We know who the house fighter is.
Yeah, that's true.
And the
Jermaine
house
was coming
fighter,
in there.
The house fighter always
and
has
the draw.
the advantage.
Yeah, and Jermaine, I tell you what though, like we told Jermaine earlier in the last episode, Jermaine impressed Top Rank more than Adono
Absolutely.
did.
Absolutely.
I guarantee you
He's
that.
got he's got the
absolutely
he's gonna
no
get
way.
if this fight doesn't happen, a rematch, which by the way, we ask him, he wants it, we want it, and we will be there.
Oh man.
If that doesn't happen, I think there's a lot of bigger, better things for him. I think he's ranked 15 on the WBC, and I think he will probably fight maybe some of those top guys to see if he can start moving up.
Yeah, and you know what? And I have to say this too, and I mentioned this to Jermaine. I understand the house fighter aspect and that Top Rank and Andre Ward. I mean, Andre Ward knows boxing like nobody's business.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, they were way too worried about what Joseph wasn't doing and not getting enough credit to what Jermaine was doing.
Yeah, it's that a little biased commentary. I mean, it's not as bad as the PBC commentary.
No, it's not as bad.
But and then Andrew Ward and Timothy Bradley, they actually do a pretty good job of trying to stay objective and down the middle. But yeah, sometimes they do focus on a little more on the top ranked fighter. But for this fight in particular, I felt Jermaine.
This one stood out to me because I think they were taken away from a quality performance. And I know Jermaine said he holds himself to a higher standard. He fought with his cojones and he wanted to be more of the technician that he's known for his moniker and really show his boxing skill. But to me, fighting with, and he confirmed it, a broken nose, a fractured
nose, because the blood just kept dripping out when he was in fighting, man.
He just kept bringing it,
and he couldn't even breathe. There were times where he would spit blood in the middle. In the middle of the rounds.
You're seeing that, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm such a fan. And another thing that I'm thinking too, guys, I'm thinking like, why don't they match up top prospects more?
That's an amazing fight, right?
Yeah,
well, because it's a business, it's an asset.
It's a business, but it's also supposed to make money. And to make money, you got to get people's interest.
But you're starting to do it. I mean, look at Frevian was going to fight a guy that was 7-0 in Lua.
That's true.
Brian Lua. And they're starting to do it.
They're
taking all that pool that they have, and they're starting to say, hey, let's do an internal kind of tournament thing. Let's start moving stuff together because now you can. You're going to have now box offices more often in any places. More than 50% capacity. Maybe I'll bring it up to 75%.
No, that's
They're
true.
doing it in Florida.
Because
they're doing it in Texas.
No, I totally agree. I guess the last thing I want to say on that real quick is, again, I don't want to, take away because, I'm high on Joseph Adorno too. That being said, the reason why I was taking exception to what he's not doing and he's not taking the fighting game serious, man, he could be on his A++ game.
Absolutely.
He can't beat Jermaine Ortiz.
I don't think so.
No.
No.
And if anybody feels differently, please comment below.
Comment, please go ahead. Rip
And
us.
I think that right
Rican
now,
brothers are going to rip us. So
and rip us off. I mean, I already heard from Jermaine. I was there. I watched it, and I also saw the fight again last night. Slowly, and I kind of analyzed. And I'm not a judge. I don't know what it takes to be a judge or how they judge. But what I'm seeing is exactly what it did happen.
You're better than Moretti. I'll tell you that much. Moretti.
Donkey. But, I mean, honestly, and now, because you just had a draw and you feel like you won the fight, and I think you did win the fight, he's going to get better. He said he's going to work on some things. And he's going to be more technical.
If they
next
announced
time,
that fight right now, I couldn't see anybody taking Joseph. I don't care how focused he is. He could take Ritalin or whatever the hell he's going to do. It doesn't matter.
He'll be a
It works in college.
Hopefully he's a co-main event too, because that's a huge fight to watch.
Man. So yeah, clearly, guys, I don't want to derail. This is Manny's show, Manny's moment.
Oh no, not at all,
but,
man.
I mean,
like I said,
I'm very high on Jermaine.
I am too. I am too now. I'm
high
now.
Period.
Go Hopper, go!
Why is it? Why?
Where am I?
COVID.
Snoop Dogg.
Vaccine.
This is because of the COVID shot. So I'm hanging in there,
Hey,
guys.
listen. But he's a fan of Jermaine because his number one boxer is
Who? Canelo?
It was Terrence Crawford. Please keep going.
No, that was two.
Damn it.
Number one was Canelo.
He started to light the fire with this guy.
You see how excited he got? Oh yeah, Canelo. I was like, whoa, bro, I love you, dude.
His body language changed. Like, oh man, come on, dude.
This guy is awesome.
But this is the Puerto Rican show.
It is.
Boricua.
Back to the Puerto Ricans.
Boricua.
Who was after Capo? It was Josue, ¿verdad? Josue Vargas.
Then Josue Vargas.
Yep.
Josue Vargas.
Rocking the platinum and pink.
I mean, this is another huge test for him against Shaw.
That was a big test, man.
It was because Shaw came out in the first round.
All of it. I mean,
almost took him.
So here's the thing. One of my questions that I've always had is, why is this guy so high in everyone's eyes, right? And when he came out and, and they're facing off, they're about to ring the bell, I started to see the stardom quality of him. Now I get part of it. Not a whole lot. But he did his thing. I think he needed to be tested right now. And Shaw did everything he had to do as well to.
No, I thought Shaw fought.
Shaw fought well.
Completely.
Yeah.
I mean, well. And I don't think he was happy with the decision, but
no,
not at all.
Now I'm kind of sensing something, and I apologize to those that are listening. Were you not completely impressed with Josue Vargas? Because I'm noticing your body language is kind of. I don't know. Maybe that's a COVID shot.
No,
But
I have to fight.
Like everybody else, you're like hell yeah. I mean, even Romero, you were like.
So listen, I have to see the fight. I did see him winning convincingly. No questions asked, but because I've been built the hype of Josue Vargas, like I was expecting. I wasn't expecting a knockout, but I was expecting like a brutal beating, and I didn't see that. And I think that this is great for him because now he can go back and say, these are the things that I need to work on to be that elite level boxer. And, just keep in mind that division is not easy.
No, it definitely
Talking
isn't.
about-
And I think that's, kind of the way that we all kind of need to go into a situation. Excuse me. We got to assess the fact that they're going to be stepping up to better quality opponents.
Absolutely.
So as that happens, we have to temper our expectations on what they're going to be able to do. I'm with you, though. I would say that, in fairness, out of all the fights, that was the one where I came away the least impressed.
Me too.
Well, I mean, look
I
what
thought it was. You know what? Never mind. I'm not going to say anything.
No.
Bring it.
No, I'm ready.
Say it.
I kind of know what you're going to say.
No, you don't. You have absolutely no idea what I'm going to say.
Okay, what are you going to say? No, I never want to hear you say.
It was Saturday night. My wife looking pretty good. Jose Vargas was fighting. I was like, you know what, babe? Take a break. This match doesn't really mean much. So. Yeah, came back and
I'm ready for Berlanga.
Ready for the Berlanga fight.
Hey, baby.
So yeah, that's how my Jose Vargas.
There
I'm sorry,
goes our
Jose,
show.
but-
There goes our show. No, but I think you're right. Listen, we said we did see him fighting
What
against.
a performance.
Can only be honest. I'm gonna pat myself on the back. It was a knockout.
Hey, listen, he did great. He dominated against Kendo Castañeda in the last fight.
He
All
did.
right? Now we're like seeing, wow, okay, he did that. Okay, here we go. And yes, he got there. I think that, he was calm and, I think his family around because they all came down to the floor and I don't know. I don't think they had seats and they're all congregating there and screaming. I think it was his brother. Like he was like almost jumping, standing on the seats and going crazy while everyone was
Top flight security.
But anyway, I think that there was more excitement down there at times. That and then when I go back and start watching the fight and getting really in my in my mood, it's like, okay, come on, bring it. You're getting them, you're hitting them. Okay, great. Where is that real Josue Vargas that could actually contend for a world title soon? Not yet.
So, and that's totally fair to say. I think.
Yep, that's real fair to say.
No, completely. Like I think in any fight where a fighter is, I mean, he was knocked down. He was hurt.
Oh, yeah.
Knocked down and hurt, and I think he became passive. And with that passiveness, he wasn't able to get, kind of get his rhythm down. I mean, he was hurt twice because it was hurt again in the fifth.
In the fifth, I think it was fifth round. I got to see it again. This is one of the fights I haven't seen again, but I think it was somewhere along the line he was kind of hurt. I kind of got up like, whoa, this is getting interesting.
I mean, yeah, clearly our brother Howard took
I took a break.
A needed break.
Much needed.
Much needed break. And he picked a good one to do it, so.
Well, I mean, if the wife really pursued it, I mean, you have to do it. I mean, wife says, come on.
Yep.
I get you.
It's a team effort.
Like, sorry, Josue, but I'll be right back.
Los Dominguez will be right back after these messages.
After these messages.
Giggity.
Hey! So,
it's the COVID shot, bro.
I'm sorry, guys. It's the COVID shot. I'm a little.
No, hey. It's all love.
Oh my God.
So
yeah.
So, but no. Yeah. Now after that, then things did kind of pick back up quite a bit.
Woo! Oh yeah, it did.
Then it got started.
It sure did.
It got started.
When the song
it got started in and out of the ring, huh? Berlanga.
Boricua, and this monster just happened to walk out and look around. It's like, wow, this is what we came here for. That's the feeling I had.
That's really interesting to me because for me as a fight fan, I was obviously all these prospects. It was littered with quality prospects, and for him to be the star, do you think it's the way that he? Is it him? Is it because
I think it's
knockouts?
I think it's because
one of the things that
he's being marketed in the knockouts and the knockouts as well.
Knockouts.
You've been promoted as a knockout king. So there were 4 seats in front of me. They were empty to mid Josue Vargas fight because I think their family were seated there and they took him out. And then this section back here, where I'd say there were like maybe 2, 4, 6, and then 4 in the back. So that's 10 seats. They weren't all filled. And then when Berlanga came out, I'm like, whoa, there's more people around me. So, yeah, that's amazing, and very interesting because we've all talked about, when we talk about Berlanga, the knockouts, and people are even saying, oh, he's used to the knockouts. Wait until he gets a better and stronger opponent. We did see that in Nichols. We know Nichols, the caliber boxer he is, and the people he's fought in the past. Now, even with Jesse Hart. So here's the deal, right? Was Berlanga expecting a knockout? There were some areas in the first round that he tried. But when he knew that he needed to really calm down and work, the crowd wasn't booing at him. They were like on a state of like, whoa, like he didn't really knock him out. So interesting enough, Berlanga came into this corner and just started going like, hush. Take it easy, guys. Hold on. Quiet. I think he felt it, and I think he pulled back from the mentality of like, this guy can hurt me.
Knockout, yeah.
I have to wait for it. I have to work for my knockout. I know he didn't give himself I think he gave himself a.
He cussed on a live interview afterwards, which was I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, no,
he did after the interview. You were there, but after the fight, they interviewed him. ESPN did, and his very first words out of his mouth, "I fucked up." I
can relate.
The interviewer was like, "Whoa!" And then
yeah,
I think somebody told him, "Hey,
yo, this is live TV,
this is live ESPN." Like, oh crap! I'm curious to see what happened. What came out of that?
I think he did. I think he graded himself like a C.
Yeah, he did.
But I think he had to really go through this, and the crowd. Of course, his hardcore fans were, every round they were like, "Come on, unleash the beast!" And there was a guy behind me, unleash the beast, over and over and over. And it's like, he's not going to unleash it. Hold on.
I mean, yeah, wait till the interview, then he'll unleash it. But, for me, I couldn't be more happy that this whole first round knocked out
is over.
Past us.
Hot time.
It was, again, it felt like a forced manufactured, unneeded, thing. I mean,
You're not
clearly.
Knock everybody out in the first round.
No.
Not at all.
No.
Go higher.
Great job.
Especially at 168. So, okay. So, my impressions of him are Does he have power? Yes. Does he have the ability to hurt people if he touches them? Yes. But he definitely has a lot of dog in him, which I appreciated. But at the same time, he did smother his punches a lot. I was surprised of how he doesn't really put his punches together. And there's like no head movement at all. Now, he's got a good quality, decent beard because he took some shots too, which I didn't expect. But I was liking the fact that I actually got to see him and see more of his game. You know, we've been hearing for a while. Shout out to, again, our brother Kano. He kept saying, don't worry, Berlanga can box. And I was like, well, you know, I'm sure maybe in the sparring sessions.
Well, you see the amateurs. He didn't knock everyone out in the first round.
No.
So we've seen him at
he
the
said his
distance.
power developed later in the pro career.
And then we heard Hermanos Locos talking about wait until you see him on the distance. He's going to have to learn certain things because if you're just used to fighting and knocking them out in the first round, what are you going to learn? How do you overcome any of the challenges that you're not accustomed to see them? And it's been years since, you know, the amateur. So,
no, I mean, again, and it's not even as a negative. You know, the things that I'm pointing out, I'm clear. You know, Andre, his camp, you know, are definitely aware of, and they're Andre Rozier are going to continue to work on. I was almost scared to say that. I was like, that's like a running back.
Rozier.
The draft song in the back. But yeah, I was definitely happy, content. I saw more work put in. Got the whole knockout thing, and, you know, out of the way.
Out of there.
I got to see the dog. I got to see the fight, and I saw a solid, decent base of boxing. So I think Berlanga definitely has something there. And I think, to me, for those that, you know, even if you are casual, there's something to be said that I think that, you know, he can, and I think he eventually will be a star.
He will. I mean, give him one more round. You get him one more round, and he was able to knock him out, right? But it was a schedule to 8. It's not 10. So that's one. The second thing is that right now, you know, he wants to fight again in September. All right, and talking about the experience that he just went through, and knowing that I could get him on the later rounds, I have to say that he hurt. He hurt him a few times, and he was just on survival mode for the most part of it. So I kind of got disappointed on that because I thought, you know, two things that he came in with his mentality is, number one, you're not going to knock me out in the first round, and you're not going to knock me out through the entire fight. And he was in survival mode at the end of the couple of rounds. So he got him caught with a couple of punches. I think he didn't really got desperate, which that's what I like about seeing. Don't get desperate. That's what you see you kind of, you know, losing all the energy and just trying because you get him caught up, and all of a sudden you're exhausted, you're tired, and you can get caught up real quickly.
No, I think that's, you know, definitely well said. You know, absolutely. So, you know, seeing a little bit more of his game was completely refreshing. I was excited. I was happy, in fact. And I was thinking, you know, this is better for the sport, you know, because you don't want it to be where it's some sort of gimmick or like, oh, well, you know, here comes Berlanga against a guy that's, you know, way below his level. And we're not going to see him continue to develop. But, you know, hopefully, you know, Top Rank will continue to develop him, work with him, and he continue to step up because they have to recognize the star quality and the potential for him to be the draw that he is. I mean, think about it. You know,
he's Top Rank's next, you know, lottery ticket.
You think so?
Absolutely. Oh yeah, he's gonna make, you know, would he ever to get to the Canelo opportunity? I think Canelo will probably move up or retired. I don't see him fighting Canelo in the next 2-3 years. I just don't see it. Sorry. Maybe, you know, I could be wrong. But I think he, you know, maybe if Canelo unifies or goes somewhere else, goes down, I don't know. Could it happen maybe later in the career with Canelo? Could be.
I mean, it could be. I mean,
that's the lottery ticket that, you know, Top Rank has with him. And then there'll be another king. He'll probably could lose to him. Win or lose to Canelo, it's still going to be a win situation for him.
Yeah, you would lose your mind if they announced that fight.
Oh, crazy. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to be there, but
lose your mind.
Dude, I'd lose my voice completely. But it was very interesting because, you know, one of the things that really didn't happen is a major fight, not inside the ring, outside the ring. But something kind of escalated a little bit that was very weird through the Berlanga fight. So there's this guy with a stack of money in his hand, and he's just walking, and everyone's seated watching Berlanga. They figured Berlanga's not going to knock him out. And I think Berlanga was 4th, 5th round. Berlanga was getting hit with a couple jobs, and, he was not really trying to work it. And this guy gets up and starts, just throwing stuff at it. You, get him down. He's nothing. He's got to improve. Obviously, he wasn't rooting for Berlanga. He got a stack of money. And I'm like, he's not trying to gamble with people there because he's not having that conversation. But he's looking at everyone as he's walking through the aisle, like looking and yanning and screaming and cussing. And so my assumption is that this guy must have made a lot of money betting that Berlanga wasn't going to knock him out. Yeah. That's my assumption. I don't know. But anyway, security came in and kind of pushed him to the back. And at that time, Berlanga was getting hit, but Berlanga kind of came back and just smacked the crap for like a couple combinations. So there's a huge Berlanga fan that gets up from the seat in front of me and goes around looking for this guy and start kind of, throwing stuff at him back and forth, and like in front of me. And the funny thing is that I was recording that round, and I'm like, yeah, Berlanga not going to knock him out. Let me just watch the fight. I hate to have the phone right there recording, and I can't really
focus on the fight
and focus and enjoy. So anyway, started to go at it, and then security came up and separated them. But very interesting. I'm like, am I good for my guys not continue to follow in a fight? Because usually in Puerto Rico, when there's a boxing fight, there's inside and outside. So well-behaved fans, appreciate that. But that was very, very weird. And the other weird thing that I did see on the fight, I personally didn't enjoy, didn't like it. I don't know if he did it. I don't think he did it on purpose. But, Berlanga's a huge attraction.
Definitely.
Right? Mm-hmm. When you're inside the ring as a boxer, you notice everything that goes around.
Yeah.
And
you're distracting him kind of.
Completely. And Berlanga just happened to walk on the floor. I think it was 5th round. And the entire floor just got up and trying to congregate around him, getting some pictures. That's a little bit distraction, and I think you sense that. I don't think that was a factor or anything that why.
Did you call him out?
No, I did not. I was just so upset that.
Did you smack him?
I was so upset that I didn't have a phone.
Hey, Berlanga.
I didn't have batteries, so I can get him. I can get a picture with them.
That's true.
Because I would have been one of the ones that go up there. But anyway, I mean, it was great to see him also walking in around and people enjoying him. But man, I think I had to be annoying for Pitufo and Navarrete just to kind of get the attention away from it. But
now, speaking of,
let's get to it.
Pitufo,
speaking of,
shall we?
Yeah. El Vaquero.
Main event.
Wow.
My time to shine.
Go for it.
All right, so
the floor.
It might have started off 3-0, but it ended.
Started
well in favor.
And still. WBO.
No, great performance. By the way, you know what? Pitufo Diaz, he earned a lot of Mexican fans that night with his performance. A lot of my friends that I've talked to, a lot of my casual boxing fans, because I was telling them I was hyping this fight up as usual. There's a high fight every fight up. But
hey, that's a gift, brother.
But speaking with them, texting them, they all said the same thing. They're like, "Wow, that other guy took some shots, man. That guy, he's got some balls. He's got some heart." He goes, "That Mexican couldn't put him away," and so on and so forth. But Pitufo, you shout out to you. You earned a lot of fans the hard way, brother. It's nothing to be ashamed of. Vaquero is just an unorthodox freak of nature who's we've never seen a fighter like him who's so quirky, unorthodox, and those uppercuts are lethal. They come from out of nowhere.
Did you see that first knockdown?
First knockdown.
Pitufo didn't expect it.
No, yeah, he thought he was blocking. He thought his defense was pretty good.
Well, I think he was jabbing and came up real quickly.
If you think about it, he's not only he's finding the range. I mean, he's like 5 feet away.
He was way
5 feet away.
I think the referee just kind of separated them.
And then he breaks the guard and he hits enough power to where he knocks him off his feet. I mean, it is almost indefensible. It sounds crazy, but like as a fighter,
72-inch reach.
Yeah, I mean that's what
at
you have.
126 pounds.
Yep,
that's ridiculous. That's like middleweight,
like 5'7".
5'7".
Yeah, he's 5'7", but that's the crazy thing about it because it's a fight that you would never want to have somebody jump and lunge into a shot like that. You leave yourself wide open, and then making up that range and the accuracy, and then would you have enough power for it to even be worth going and taking that risk of that shot? But he's so unorthodox and so quirky, and we got to call it like it is. I mean, I know myself, and we've had past times on the show where we were appreciating the fact that the volume of the amount of times that Navarrete was fighting, but at the same time, we're kind of questioning on the opponent. But other
than Dugbo, other than Isaac Dugbo, when he burst on the scene, that's the first time I've even me, a hardcore Mexican boxing fan, hadn't really heard of Navarrete up until that point,
right?
Against Isaac Dugbe, and Dugbe was a top-ranked fighter through and through, and
Navarrete, wasn't he a champion or former champion?
He was the champion.
Yeah, he was
Navarrete beat him.
That's right.
And in the rematch, he destroyed him
completely.
Yeah, the rematch was even worse.
Dogby didn't look that good, and he thought he needed that, and I think there was a rematch clause, and there was nothing else.
Yeah,
he really destroyed him.
He really wished he didn't take that
I know,
rematch.
Right? Well, I mean, the payday was good. But
I'm just saying for his face.
For his face.
Not his wallet.
I know. Which, by the way, welcome back. He did amazing in the last fight, Doc.
Yeah, so he definitely did. So that's the thing with Navarrete. So I got to ask to my brother Hopper, where do you stand with him? Because I know that we had a show where we were kind of saying you saw similarities to, in respect to him, to Leo Santa Cruz, as far as maybe being the casual cow, as far as like the casual Mexican fight fans that, hey, he's on the card, so it's got to be good.
So you got to watch it.
Yeah, you got to watch it. Who's he fighting?
Punches.
I have no idea.
No idea.
And it doesn't matter. But he's going to be on the card, and he's going to, put in work. And it kind of seemed like he was being set up that way.
But yeah, and then shout out to him, though, for taking a fight like Christopher Diaz. He didn't have to take that fight.
He didn't.
He didn't have to take the opponent, but he wanted it, and he took it. Because Diaz wasn't his mandatory. It was just a voluntary defense against Pitufo Diaz. And Pitufo Diaz is a tough.
I mean, he
tough hombre.
Yeah, absolutely.
So where does it go now for Navarrete and I guess for Pitufo Diaz as far as for both men? Where do you think they're going to go at this point?
Well, it's been talked about that Navarrete is going to fight Joet Gonzalez next. It's in the works, and I'm a little disappointed in that because that's Shakur Stevenson's leftovers. I mean,
Joet looked pretty good last time though.
Yeah, he did, and it's kind of.
And leftovers are always decent if you heat them up in the season.
I knew you would like that.
Hot out leftovers.
Shout out to leftovers. And some of the other fighters that are in the division, the 126 pounds, are kind of hard to make, like Gary Russell Jr. I would love to see that fight, but it won't. I'd
love to see Leo Santa Cruz come back to 126.
Let's just go ahead and go through it, guys. So I know this is we're showing love to the Puerto Rican card, and it was amazing. But we got to give love to Navarrete.
Absolutely, 100%.
So,
bro.
He's definitely doing his thing. So just kind of going around real quick. And first to my brother Hopper, and then, of course, you, Manny. If they announced, who could they announce right now, realistically, that would be an exciting fight that you think that they could actually defeat Navarrete?
That could actually defeat Navarrete? Probably the only one, I think, at 126 pounds, Gary Russell Jr. But like you said, realistically, I don't think that fight has any chance to happen. Even Leo Santa Cruz, he's over there with the PBC.
Yeah, PBC, that's not gonna,
not going to happen.
The other side of the street.
Maybe even Josh Warrington, but he lost to Mauricio Lara. Lara would, that would be a decent scrap.
So
not a lot of people know who Lara is. I think our brother, and this is Manny's point that he brought up earlier in the show when we were talking, Navarrete's best option is probably moving on up to 130 to fight.
Right. Oscar Valdez.
Yeah.
That would be a pretty good one because that was my thought as well. First of all, Navarrete is, like I said, man, he's a different animal. He's going to be a future. I keep saying that, man, because his reality is going to happen.
Pound for pound.
And it's just very exciting to watch.
Now,
I just don't think he's got anything else to look for in the 126 other fighting, like he mentioned, Joey Gonzalez. And also there's talks about Miguel Cotto and his contender Brian Chevalier, which could be another okay opponent. I don't think that Chevalier has what it takes to beat
versus Navarrete.
That's kind of too soon for
right. It's kind of
way too soon.
It's kind of too soon. But what I'm saying is, there's no options in there.
126.
I agree. Leo Santa Cruz may be for me my best. What I would like to see, but on the PBC, how are you going to make that happen? And I don't know what Leo wants to do. Whether stay 130, still up there, or still going to come down here. No one right now at the 126 can beat Navarrete. No one. No. To be honest. No.
So, all right. So, obviously, we're showing love to the amazing Puerto Rican card and the people in Kissimmee. You guys did a great job of supporting those fighters. So, there is a fighter at 130 with Puerto Rican blood, Puerto Rican ties,
Shakur
Stevenson.
What about that, Manny?
He just has to move up. I don't think Shakur has any interest to come down at 126 anymore. And if it moves up and Shakur,
they announced it. They announced it though. Navarrete
if they announce it, oh, that'll be a heck of a fight. And yes, I'd see an opportunity of Navarrete losing that fight. There's power.
Yeah, definitely.
There's skill. There's youth in both of them. I think Navarrete may be slightly a little bit worn out. He's still at its peak, but he's still worn down in terms of fighting more consistent than Shakur. That may not be a huge difference, but man, that will be fantastic.
So,
if that happens,
so I guess obviously, yeah, we're talking about it all goes back to moving up and the possibility, which I love both things that you said as far as Oscar Valdez, and I think that's a very
even
fight.
What they can do also as well is even Herring can go ahead and fight against Shakur Stevenson. I think that's the fight that everyone wants to see. Shakur was always talking about he wanted to fight Hampton.
They're kind of buddies though.
But but still, true. If there's a way that you want to attract a major, huge pay-per-view fight, it's got to be for a belt. And if Shakur Stevenson doesn't have a belt yet, I think it might be a little bit difficult to do it. If Navarrete moves up, he'll probably come as a super champion.
Yeah, no, and then, you know how the WO has that rule, WBO?
Yeah. He's been doing it since the junior featherweight.
Who's the WBO champion? Is that Oscar Valdez at 130?
No, it's Jamel Herring.
Jamel Herring's the WBO. So he'd get a shot at that one, but he might vacate that belt.
Which one?
Jamel Herring.
He would?
I think so. Because I don't think him and Shakur has any legs on it. I don't think, from what they've been saying in the media. And Oscar Valdez doesn't seem to have
Well, that's a good point, because I know they were hoping that they didn't think Herring. Well, they didn't want Herring to.
They didn't
win.
want Herring to win. They wanted Frampton to win.
Yeah, and that would have said
Valdez. And
so let me ask you something, Hopper. This may interest you, or get a slight opinion on that. Gervonta Davis.
Oh, I would love that fight. But Tank's all over the place. He's fighting for secondary versions of belts. He's going up to fight Mario Barrios at 140 pounds.
Yet.
Yeah,
it's not yet. Not done yet.
It's official. It's on the Showtime cards already.
Okay. Yeah, it's on the
official.
calendar.
But they're fighting for the secondary version of the WBA belt. I mean, he's moving up to try to be a 3-time secondary champion, because the real champion, we already know who they are. Josh Taylor Ramirez.
So
but that would be a great fight, Tank. But like I said, man, before he moves up to 130, I would love to see him fight Gary Russell Jr.
I wish
that's
that
the
happens.
one and two top dogs at 126 pounds.
That kind of has to happen.
It has to, but it's not, because you know why? The PBC just doesn't play ball.
Yeah,
it's a shame.
I guess I gotta do some research and dig deep, but I can't think.
Would Gary Russell calls out a lot of people?
He hasn't called.
Yet to hear him. Yeah,
he hasn't called.
I've yet to hear him.
I haven't seen him call
Navarrete's name.
Let me see if he calls him now.
He calls out everybody. Leo. He calls out Terrence.
Has anybody called out Navarrete?
Yeah, nobody's called out. No, well, specifically Gary Russell Jr. He has yet to call out Navarrete. Anything come out of his name, because as soon as he does, I bet you Bob Arum would be willing to go ahead. Let's go. Let's
Please,
get it on.
I think to unify, absolutely, and to further cement the star that potentially Navarrete could potentially be. So, gotta talk about it, brother. So much respect for Pitufo Diaz. Now, what would you first of all, not just performance, but how do you feel about Pitufo Diaz? That night and going forward.
Well, we heard a lot about the new Pitufo Diaz, everything you read in newspaper, and new Pitufo Diaz, he portrayed himself that way, and I can see why. He rejuvenated his career. He's focused on training. He's got a business mentality with this detailing business and some other stuff in real estate. So this is great. This was just great, and I think the Puerto Rican people embraced him. And I had a conversation with my good friend Edgar. Saludo, papi, te amo. With him, we grew up watching this whole stuff, and boxing, and he gave me his perspective, and it's like, kudos to Pitufo. He did what he had to do. He was never, what do you say? He was never bragging, or he's never been an ass, to people, to the fans. He's always been open in everything he's done, and so that really gets the attention. What would be next for him? He's got great opportunities. For me, I want to see him as a world champion. Sad thing about it is a Gary Russell Jr. fight. I don't think it's happened. Top rank in PBC. Leo Santa Cruz. No, I would love to see him. I would love to see him go down. All right, go down to the super bantamweight and maybe challenge some of these guys out there. That WBO Stephen Fulton. That could be, someone.
Ooh, that'd be amazing.
He wanted to do that before he fought Navarrete. One of the fights didn't happen, and then now he got the biggest opportunity, to fight world title. Is he going to be, unless Navarrete decides to move up,